Well, hello, everyone. Welcome back to another broadcast of the Give Norton Radio Show. Today, it's less of the radio show and more of just another gaming video because that's what I do here. It's late night. I've been chilling on Forza, so I figured I'd play that. I give you the intro slide there and really kind of give you a chance to visualize and look at something rather than just listen to me. Um, but I think it's also important you hear because we're going to be going over simple things. A chapter in my life is closing, and that is with the military, and that's something that I've been meaning to talk about for a while, actually. But since I didn't know whether or not I was going to stay in or leave until more recently, then I was like, okay, I guess I can talk about this now. So, we're here. I just acquired this car. I already forgot what it was. Ah, that's right. I needed to add some stuff. No. Oh, I wish I could add like a thing. Cause all I need to do is just put no, don't mess it up. Please don't mess it up. All right. So I am. I've made come to the decision right to
Considering
go
it's been
ahead
driven in
and.
complete secret, I think you owe
Ooh,
it to the
that's
car to show
nice.
it
That's
off.
nice. I like that. To go ahead and exit the military. I there's no purpose for me there anymore. It's been I've been in for 9 years because I signed for an extra year. But going back all the way to 2017, where I first enlisted, June 1st. I remember that because that's just like, yeah, that's the what a way to start. Um, well, I guess not start the second half of the year, but start the warmer months, right? Like, man, here we go, kicking off summertime with a fresh enlistment into the military. So that's right after graduation, right after high school. That's me doing my thing, and we're gonna be doing a lot of cruising. So I'm gonna set the destination. We're gonna go drive up to this town up here. Probably drive. Well, yeah, we'll drive around because I got to cruise up here in the mountains. So we'll set the destination for like here. There we go. All right, cool. Drive through the city a little bit, and we'll drive through in a better car than this. I want to drive in my DBX. We just got the GT. I'm sorry, we're going to be kind of going back and forth. Could do the American style, American muscle. They got the Tennessee State Police, State Trooper skin on there, but the GT. I love the Ford GT. It's my favorite from Forza Horizon 5. We could ride in the Continental. It's kind of a rough ride though. All right, we'll do the WD-40. So yeah, um, 2017. We rolled in the office. My dad was with me. Signed that contract. We got in there. It was beautiful. It was amazing. It was pretty simplistic because I didn't take any packages. Like, sorry, I'm gonna switch cards again. Like, I didn't take any packages with like air assault school or airborne school. I did none of that. I was like, that didn't sound interesting to me, and so that for that reason, I just didn't take it. Um, so I didn't go to airborne, didn't go to air assault even after that fact because I could have just gone at any point in time, but didn't really feel like it. Like it, nothing. It wasn't. I wasn't feeling drawn to it. I could take the Timu car. That's too fast. Too fast. We might have to take the Lincoln. Unfortunately. All right, cool. It's a big car. It's a classic car. I promised I wouldn't ride this too often because it's just. I love the Lincoln Continental, one of my favorite classic cars. So we went through that. I had a little bit of a screw up at MEPS, right? So my MOS originally was supposed to be driving trucks, and for some reason at MEPS, I decided to wear basketball shorts, which is fine because we had to do doctor examinations and duck walks and all that fun stuff. So better to wear clothes that you can be very maneuverable in than jeans like a lot of these other kids did. So doing that, right? We had a little restaurant in the hotel we were staying at because MEPS is like they have the whole little thing going on at a hotel. So I was wearing basketball shorts, right? Loose pockets, very, very like wavy pockets. Stuff, definitely jumbles around up in there when you're walking around. So I lost my driver's license, so I couldn't. So that was the one thing I really needed for that job is like you had to have a driver's license on you so they could prove that you're able to drive. Lost it. Couldn't find it. Had my social security card on me and didn't lose that. I had that. And I think that was loose, which is funny. So had that, lost, and ended up going to be a supply specialist. So I did that instead. And that was a thank you. Oh, it's raining. Boo. So I did that. Just like doing that to people when I pass them. So I did that. Ended up going. My basic training was. That was kind of funny, because everybody that I talked to beforehand, outside of MEPS, my recruiter was like, "Where are you going?" "Oh yeah, you're probably going to Jackson and whatnot." And she saw the papers and she was like, "Wait, what? You're gonna go to? Oh, all right then. Yep. Don't bring your phone." I ended up going to Fort Benning. And for people who don't know, Fort Benning is where the infantry come from. So that's where they come from. And it's like, oh, it's known as the Maneuver Center of Excellence. So I'm like, oh, okay. And I knew nothing about it till I got there. Well, I will say, magnificent base to train at. Because the unfortunate truth, and this isn't like just to pump it up or any more than it already is, bro, AIT was soft in comparison. We were treated so roughly at Benning, because our drill sergeants were trying to essentially imitate the infantry in the way that they trained us, and they were trying to try some different things and test some stuff out with us. Bro, that was diabolical. I tell you what, we were very strong at the end of that cycle. Very strong. Very strong. Oh, man. Because we were getting, like, the protein bars and stuff like that. That was, not the protein bar. Yeah, I guess they were, like, the protein bars. Or calcium or something. That's what they were good for. I don't know what was actually in those. Never cared. We were just, they were given to us and we ate them. Welcome to the military. That's how it goes. So we pretty much had, like, we had a good time. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. We had a great time. We had a fantastic time. This was. Hello? Sorry, I gotta look at this. How much is this bad boy? Of course I'm taking it. Store in my garage, please. Thank you. Sometimes you get led some places and you just gotta go.
Recalculating route.
What a place to be. Nice car. Can't wait to drive that. So, this was also, we had during that year we went, There was a hurricane down in, I believe, Cuba, and that, or was that Cuba? And I believe that came up the coast, came up to the coast, and eventually ended up hitting us. And those are strong winds because that's much, because I'm like from the Midwest, so we would get hurricane winds, not hurricane winds, but we get like the remnants of whatever's left of the hurricane and storms. But I'm gonna be honest, it's not much in comparison to what we got down there. We had to eat outside during that, by the way, because we couldn't eat food in the barracks because they were like in the barracks because they're like no, because there's gonna be we would let you, but you know, crumbs and stuff like that, and y'all get dirty and y'all don't pick up after yourselves, which I'm sure we would have, but I think they were still right because that would have been something. All it takes is one person to mess it up, and we'll have mice and cockroaches and all that other stuff to fight off, and that's not fun. So instead of that, we had to eat outside in PTs. We weren't in our full uniforms or in PTs. I think that was like white phase or blue phase. I don't remember. It was one of the later phases. It was miserable, but it was okay. Hang on. Gotta pull her back. I gotta get that board real quick.
Turn around when it is safe to do so.
Alright. We find him, we hit him. Sorry, Chief. So that was fun. That was a fun adventure. But we made good friends during that time, had fun experiences. And it was still to this day one of the most fond experiences I have in the military out of anything else I've ever done. And that should tell you a lot. For those who've been in it for a while, that tells you a lot about the experiences. Dang it, detour. I think I waited. Ooh. Gotta get these keys up in here. Hello. Goodbye, my little edamame. All right. Oh, sorry, Chief.
400 yards.
So yes, we went and we did that. That was great. AIT for a supply specialist is kind of like, it's kind of lame because we did a lot of PowerPoints and that was terrible because you have PT in the morning, you got to eat food. So not only have you exercised, you now have probably showered, you've eaten, and now you sit down for hours, not just an hour, hours, listening to PowerPoints. Out of my way, Sonny. Listening to PowerPoints, stuff like that, and it's like, and it's painful. It is painful, I will admit. It is very painful.
Turn right.
Like, dislike it. Dislike it a lot. So, you also, in our cadences, we couldn't say kill like we could at Benning. So that was a shock to me. I think the first couple nights we were there, actually organized into our platoons, we usually say the Soldier's Creed, blah, 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 blah. And, you turned crazy. And so, at the end, at Benning, we would say professionals, because that was like our division's, or our battalion's name. That's like the name we had, is the professionals. And so after we finish, saying the Soldier's Creed, we would yell professionals at the end of that. When I got to, and in my brain not separating it, that I was like, oh yeah, I'm in a different place now. I'm in a different battalion. I nearly shouted out professionals. And at AIT, and boy, it was awkward in my head as I'm like, my brain's like, wait, shut up, the last minute, because I'm like, never mind, and I stopped. because it was, ooh boy, it was gonna be bad. I would have definitely gotten smoked for that, because they would have been like, "What the heck did you just say?" And it's nothing. It's not a swear word or anything like that. They wouldn't freak out about that. They'd just be like, "What are you talking about? Why are you weird?" That kind of thing. So fighting that was was a little rough at first. I will admit. Oh man, what else did we got had going on over there? I mean, I don't know. AIT was just it was soft because that was the first time. Oh yeah, by the way, I didn't have so at Benning, you didn't have mixed um, basic trainings. Like there were no females. We had a female drill sergeant at some point come through the where's the parking lot here? Come through our cycle, but like she was there for maybe a couple weeks. She was there for a couple of weeks, and so that was our like first exposure to having like a female within our ranks there, somewhat. That was the closest thing we had because this was at the time also they had started like just started introducing females into infantry, and we saw maybe one or two, but that was it. I don't know who they were. Hopefully they're doing well and definitely still alive today. But that was it. Like I was all dudes, nothing but dudes for 10 weeks. So you can imagine me getting to AIT and I'm like, oh yeah, there's girls here. I was like, okay. Granted, I didn't have any like, and I didn't have too many problems because, um, I don't know, being in that environment, it wasn't like, yeah, sure, you might look, but in the grand scheme of things, I'm just like, no, I don't want to. Oh, make sure nobody's crossing that road. I don't want to get myself involved in these weirdos because is fraternizing can get you in a lot of trouble. Not trouble you want. Believe me, it ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. It's like, oh, it's true love. No, it's not. You are desperate. You are depraved because you've been cut off from a lot of the regular access to this stuff. And you're in an environment now where you're being trained to go out and do your job effectively. You need to focus on that and only that. You can deal with relationships outside of this. And that goes for anybody potentially joining the military. Don't fall for a single person you meet in training. Don't do that. Get out of training, wait a while, and then maybe try to contact somebody. But I'm gonna be honest with you, you probably won't want to. So, so I didn't really struggle too much with that, especially in the terms of like lust or anything like that. I was okay. Um, when I got to my first unit, right, our first annual training was in March in Indiana, and it was March, so it was cold, extremely cold. That was miserable. That was miserable, and I tell you that, like oh man, oh, because we go wherever that unit normally goes for like field training and stuff like that. So that was the first exposure to like doing regular warehouse stuff, that the way the military does it. And so, oh my gosh, dude, it was cold. Like it was cold. It was cold. I was miserable half the time because they're just trying to stay warm. And those bogus gloves they give you initially, that you're initially issued, they don't do jack. They honestly don't do jack. I've had the inserts and the leather gloves. You're better off getting you uh some actual winter gloves, so that way your fingertips you can feel those after being out in the cold for an hour or so. That's my horn, by the way. All right, enough of that. So that was terrible. I remember bits and pieces of that. I know I remember like just being there and kind of feeling awkward and out of place. and worried about my stuff getting stolen. Because there's an old saying in the army, like, everybody, like, there's only one thief, and everybody else is just trying to get their stuff back. That's it. It's rough. I really want to get a steering wheel, because now this would be a lot better with a steering wheel and pedal and such. I don't know about getting the shifter, but because I don't do manual driving in this, really bad at that. Gotta learn that. I love these drives. I have to set another destination because I don't think we're gonna make it. Because I'm taking in the scenery and also talking to you guys, and it's such a beautiful thing. So, my first unit, I was there the entire time of my I should say, contract, 6 years. And then that was a boring time, I will say. We had some interesting moments. I've been to JRTC twice. We've had a lot of field training and field exercises. And it's funny because in the reserves, and being supply, I didn't think I'd be out in the field that much because that's what a lot of other people said. They're like, "Oh, you're a pogue. You're not gonna be out in the field that often." Blah 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 blah. But like the last 2 years of my contract, I guess my first contract, bro, our first sergeant and our commander were both former infantry, so that's terrible. So we spent so much time, pretty much every drill except for 2 of them. I was in the Army Reserves, by the way. Sorry if this is like some of that would not make sense to a foreigner, people who don't understand. I was in the Army Reserves, so it's kind of like the National Guard, but the Army Reserve falls under the federal. The federal government pays us instead of the state government. We're not funded by any state governments. We are federally funded, and that is the main difference. I'm sure there are other slight differences, but that is the main difference for me, if I have to break it down to someone. So, that being said, every drill, probably except for 2 out of the year, because we'd have to do admin stuff, would be in the field. We're going back to the field. Bring the tents. And I mean the big tents, the old school big tents that you got to put up. Them suckers are heavy, and it's exhausting to put those up in heat or in cold. Because in one, you can't feel your fingers, and it's like hard to hammer and hold stuff tight. Because rope burn when it's cold is much worse than rope burn when it's hot. I will be very honest about that and be very blunt about that.
Turn right.
Oh, you were turning. Now we're really burning it. So yeah, that was bad. That was bad. I remember. I think it was one time we went somewhere, maybe Kentucky. I don't know. Probably Kentucky. And it was, I believe, March again. We're out in the field, and we had nice warm barracks ready for us. All we had to do was reserve them. Didn't do that. Spent the time in the field. We brought tents, but we didn't have enough room, so we didn't bring the correct sectioning of tents, so we could have big enough tents for everybody. Because obviously we keep the female separate and the male separate. So we didn't have enough room. So some people had to sleep outside, and it was awful. That was one of the worst things. I remember I had to sleep in a Humvee. Those any Humvee that's not up armored, I guess even an up armored Humvee, it's terrible. In the cold, when it's like 20 degrees or less at night, I was in there freezing my butt off. I barely got any sleep. I was shivering most of the night. Anyway, I had my whoopee and I had my sleeping bag, but it was the warm weather sleeping bag. So it was thin, not very good at keeping me warm. Um, and it felt awful. And we were there for like a week, and I was absolutely miserable. And it's those thrills that made me appreciate being at home a lot more. Because I'm like,
Turn right.
oh, that's right. I don't have to deal with that. I get to come back home and just relax and be all nice and toasty. Yeah, what a fun experience. Imagine that. And you got to work every day. Every day we're out there doing work. We're out there doing a class or taking care of some other
Yards.
business.
Turn
Lift
right.
this and move this over here, that kind of stuff. Oh man, that was rough. That was rough. I'm for sure, and I know a lot of people in the military. You have that experience. You have experience like that. Please let me know about those because they are funny to listen to. And it's like, dude, you understand how bad that
Turn
is.
right.
I have to set another destination here in a little bit. About to have to turn around. Some of these roads I haven't explored, so this is the reason why we're driving up here in the first place. Like, it's not getting that dirty, so we're pretty good. It's raining a little bit here. All right. So, as we get to the, I guess, second half of this conversation. So, the 6 years that I spent at that one unit, and I know people are going to be like, oh, well, you should have switched and you should have just reclassed. And I was like, dude, I have researched, I have looked, I have inquired. I went to a unit to just see who they were, how they were. I've been trying to transfer, and it just there were no spots for me. Everything anywhere there were spots was further, and I had to travel 2.5 hours to my unit, um, and in Indiana, and that was awful because that's me getting off of, and I work a lot of second shift, right? So for most of my life, I have so far my adult life, I should say. I spent a lot of time working second shifts, so I would get off of work probably 11, maybe 11:30 at night, come home,
You have
couldn't
arrived
go to
at
the
your
gym because I'd
destination.
be too exhausted to drive. And then on top of that, all right, you got to stay awake. I pretty much come home, stay awake. Whoops. I come home, stay awake, eat some food or something, play games, whatever I can to stay awake. Because the whole goal is you got to stay awake so you don't fall asleep. Because I know somebody's going to be like, oh, well, why didn't you fall asleep? Because I tried that. And the problem with that is I didn't want to get up after sleeping because I would leave at about 2 a.m., 2:30 a.m. Because from where I was from where I was to where my unit was, 2.5 hours, and the time difference. So they were an hour ahead. And I was like, ooh, wait, that's not good for me. And it wasn't good for me. Golly, it was not good for me. Can we do like a multi-destination thing? Because I would like to drive. I want to see what's out here. So we're going to go out here, see what we can see. Why is it not? Oh, it's a side road. That's why. Oh, yeah, there's no connecting piece. I see. Fair enough. All right, I guess down we go. 14 miles. Here we go, chat. Or people. Here we go. So I looked in reclassing, and I honestly couldn't find anything that was like enjoyable. Now, mind you, I have a good GT score and all these other things, all the scores. So I was qualified for like I don't know, plenty. Even now, I'm still qualified for plenty, but I don't. There's nothing that piqued my interest that I was like, okay, well, what could I do here that could potentially work for a civilian job, and potentially get me some more experience and some added perks to any future jobs I may have.
400 yards, turn right.
And there was nothing. There was nothing I was looking at for the Army that I was like, oh, yes, this is good. Because I looked at engineering. I'm like, I could potentially do that. Didn't want to be an MP. That's the last thing I ever want to do in my life. That's awful
Turn right.
for me. Good for those who really want to be MPs. But for me, it's like, no, no.
In 400 yards, turn left.
Well, she drifts a little bit. So you know, I looked for both locations and for different jobs, and nothing I found was piquing my interest. I didn't feel called to anything else. Logistics seemed to be where I needed to be. Now, granted, looking at it now, because I recently, not recently, but within the last year, I've been promoted, and and I and I was handpicked. That wasn't even like a let's run through the gauntlet, let's just do some rounds of interviews and then see how. No, that was just like somebody, my boss came up to me, was like, look, I need both, because it was me and like two other people. They're like, look, all you guys, I'm gonna get you all promoted. Um, like, and for my civilian job. Sorry, let me make that clear. But we were handpicked. One of us got it first, wasn't me. But then the other two of us are like, okay, they're gonna open up the application, just, you know, put it in. I'll make sure that they pull yours first. So that was good, and I've been blessed ever since, because
In 400 yards,
it's just like, wow,
turn
really?
left.
Like, okay, because I half the time I don't think I'm doing that great of a job. I'm just kind of like, I'm there, working, doing the job as you guys told me to. So, but to get handpicked for promotion is pretty
Turn
cool.
left.
Right. You know I gotta open it up real quick. Show you what the Lincoln Continental can do. Oh, this car is beautiful. Open it up. Open it up. Gotta open it up just a little bit. Ooh. Ooh, she purrs. That is so sweet. All right, enough of that. So, going from basic to AIT, my first unit. I spent most of my time there kind of just chilling, doing the paperwork. We didn't, the first 4 years were kind of rough. Obviously, your first year in your unit's going to be kind of like an adjustment, a big adjustment for some, a small adjustment for others. For me, it was a bigger adjustment, but it was still, I still had fun where I could. I remember we had one time we had the chance to do like a simulator where we had these separate rooms with like Humvees in them, rigged up to this, like, it's like a VR room basically, where everything is projected on the walls. Your environment, it's like you're in Arma basically, but it's like you're like a convoy simulator or something of that manner. That was pretty cool training, I won't lie. Because you had M4s hooked up, you had rocket launchers hooked up, you had the 50 cal hooked up, and you could in the simulator get in the Humvee, drive in a convoy, and we simulated all these different movements and such. And it was so cool because when you could shoot at people, they shoot back at you. I think we had a vest on where you could get hit. That did happen for a lot of people, which is just natural. Getting to shoot the rocket launcher was pretty cool in the simulator. We had people on 50 cal and such, and it was cool. It was a fun time, absolutely a fun time. But stuff like that and other typical training we would go through is always something that I look back on and I'm like, yeah, that was a fun time. And during those 4 years, I met some pretty cool people, made some pretty cool connections. Somehow ended up getting myself into a cushy position. And the last 2 years, I kind of rode out with that position. Where I don't know if I would consider it shamming. I don't know if my mafia folks out there would know. But is it shamming if I'm still doing work and like it's the same work every time? I'm not being forced to go out in the motor pool and do PMCS and all that other stuff. Like I'm actively just chilling out doing another job that I kind of want to do because it keeps me, busy and occupied from doing all the boring stuff like PMCS. And I get that it's important. Don't get me wrong. As I've been working on my own car, trying to get it up to snuff, so we can have that with all these different laws and stuff passing about people be like, oh, not being able to work on their own cars and stuff, ridiculous. So I understand how important it is to keep a vehicle up to speed there, so you may continue to use it and have it for a long time. But I tell you what, I'm not going to be buying a new vehicle. I'm going to probably only end up buying used ones. So got myself in a cushiony position. A cushy position, I guess I could say. And I kind of rode that out till the end of my contract initially. And then I was like, cool, great, I'm done. I'm done. I didn't really have to pass the reins off too much because I had a PFC with me. And he was my partner in crime basically for that whole time. So after I was gone, he took over. And, just out there chilling. Chilling like villains. We were always doing that. For when I went to JRTC the second time, which is, here's the thing. The first time I went to JRTC, a little confusing, a little crazy at first, but honestly not that bad. The second time we went, terrible. They made us do full kit. Is it on the ceiling? Oh, it is on the ceiling.
Turn around when it is safe to do so.
Sorry, that was really cool. I like meeting people in Forza. Forza is really nice for this. Dang it, what was I gonna say? I kind of lost my train of thought there. Oh yeah, well, the second time we went to JRTC, they made us wear full kit. We couldn't take our outer tops off. We had to wear full kit, whole time.
Turn left.
And it's hot, it's humid, all day, all night. Pretty terrible. That was actually bad. I won't lie. That one was actually bad. Is this a speed zone or is this just a thing? Okay, we'll have to come back and actually do this because that's exciting. That's a little exciting. But we're talking right now, so I can't afford to be doing that. This is a beautiful bridge, by the way. Look at this, Chad. Like, look at that. I'm gonna see if I can get up at the peak and take a picture, because this is honestly beautiful. This is why Forza is gonna remain one of my favorite racing games of all time. There it is. Right there. Look at that. Now we're gonna have to actually take a screenshot from the actual thing here. Cool, great. Dunzo. What a beautiful shot, dude. So that was fun. Full kit JRTC for the whole time. No changes in it. Like I was like, great. Because at least the first time we went, it was like, yeah, take your tops off. Don't be wearing those too often unless you have to. But otherwise, it was in our short sleeve shirts and in our armor and such, and our kit, the rest of our kit. It was pretty chill. I loved it. That's what I wish I would have gone back to. But boy, made me miss the first time I went. Who said that? Okay, great. Thanks, folks. People are really kind in here. So, uh, I love these people, man. It's crazy how you could find so many people in this game. That just love the. I mean, we all love the same thing. We're enjoying the cars, enjoying the time, and racing and the drifts and the jumps and the everything. I'm glad they added car meets to this. I think we needed it badly. So it's been a really fun 8 years.
Turn right.
Now I say 9 years because your boy done did a thing where at the when I was considering reenlistment and I was considering that stuff for the first time, I ended up signing an extension because I was like, no, I'm gonna go take my time, get out, not get out, but still be under contract, but I don't have to show up. Sit in the IRR for a little bit and see what happens. Well, since I have my current job,
Turn around when it is safe to
and
do
I've
so.
been enjoying being married, first of all. Oh, the Jag! The Jag! Sorry, I freaked out a little bit, but the Jag! It's a Jag. Oh, yes, sir. We'll do the wheel spin while we're here anyway. Give me another. Give me another. Come on, hit me. Hit me. Hit me. Don't hit me like that. Okay. All right, 15 I'll take. Don't give me 5. Bro, we got a Jag. Oh, that's so cool. That threw me off. That threw me off my game. I was not expecting that. Look at that. I love the way this game looks. Japan was a good choice. I can't blame them. Japan was a really, really, really good choice. Because I considered, coming back, but I got married. Oh yeah, I got married and moved back in 24. So I couldn't go back the same way to the same unit. So I just kind of let that time run out, and then it got close. Counselors started reaching out. They're like, "Hey, you're coming up on this time. You want to get out? You want to stay in? What are you doing?" And they're obviously more. Their initial approach is leaning more towards me staying and actually, doing something. So I was like, let's talk. Let's see what's up here now that I live elsewhere and see what's available. The jobs they gave not that wide of a variety that these companies up here were in need of. So I was like, I don't know about that. The biggest portion of this in my decision making would be, I'd say, my wife. Between my wife and the church, because I like going to church and I love spending time with my wife. I love being around my wife, even though we're not in the same room sometimes. You know, when we're at home, like I still like knowing that she's here and she's around, um, because she keeps me out of trouble. She very much is that big part of my life that keeps me focused, and keeps me out of trouble. I don't like being away from my wife. I'm away from my wife anyway, Monday through Friday, because work for about 8 hours a day, if not more sometimes. And with that, right, like, that's enough. I don't need to be going away and not being able to come home at night to her, Um, that's the part that kills me these days because I'm like, no, 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 I I don't want to do that, and I don't need to do that. The Lord has blessed us um,
Recalculating
with
route.
giving me a higher wage,
In 200 yards,
and
turn
I'm not
right.
gonna discuss numbers exactly, but like while she was working, like I'm pretty much getting about what she'd be making lumped in to my own to what I was making,
Turn around when it is safe to do
and
so.
that is magnificent because Lord knows and that's funny because that happened after I decided like I'm done with this military stuff, like it's not for me anymore. Active duty wasn't really a good choice for me because I'm not that kind of person. I like being around my family. I get to visit my parents every weekend because we still go to the same church. Um,
In 200
so I ended up
yards,
spending
turn
afternoons
right.
at their house. So it is family is very important to me, clearly. And as I get older, I'm realizing that guy had a weird tag at the front there. All right, let's ignore that. Um, Between that and serving in church, and I'm like, dude, I don't like missing church because now that I know I'm supposed to be a preacher and eventually a more serious role in that, and also on the auxiliaries I normally serve on anyway. I don't like leaving. Um, Even though I trust my
Turn
partner in
around
crime to
when
do
it
a
is
really
safe
good
to do
job,
so.
because he usually does. We have our hiccups, but he usually does the right things. And typically, I don't have to worry too much if I'm gone, because he's gotten much better. But I like to be there. I like to work. I like to serve. Um, Somebody did at some point talk to me about like, hey
200
man, have you ever
yards,
considered being a
turn
chaplain? And
right.
I'm like, no, I haven't. And I don't know why I never did, because it didn't. I like that didn't appeal to me. I don't know why. Because I've met chaplains, and I'm like, ooh, I don't know. They never really like, never looked at a chaplain and was like, I want to be that someday. Like I had an idea about possibly being an officer. I had the potential to be a sergeant and be drill sergeant and all that stuff and go to those schools. I didn't care enough. I didn't apply myself enough to actually get to that point. Slacked on some of that paperwork,
In 200
so
yards, turn
that
right.
never happened, and I'm okay with that. Because it's one of those real, because especially with the military, and that's what I appreciate about the military is it has real consequences. Because I'm like, dude, if you're not going to put in the paperwork, you're not getting promoted. Like you just have to do some simple paperwork, and you'll get promoted. If you don't want to do that,
Turn
you won't be
right.
promoted, and that's a real consequence. Nobody's going to do it for you, and that's what I appreciate because that helped me with my development into the man I am now. Because it's understanding that I have had now granted I have had many opportunities in life where people have done stuff for me, spoke on
In
my
100
behalf,
yards, turn
etc.,
right.
etc. But some things you gotta earn yourself. Some things you just gotta earn yourself, and that's what the military taught me, and I love that. That's one thing I will take with me for the rest of my life. And it's totally okay to do stuff yourself. It's okay to have those moments and take care of business. Um, there's a lot of moments I've had of leadership. Obviously the discipline and the courage is important, are important things I took. So those are the things I appreciate about my experience, and I don't regret. I don't regret joining. I did what I did, and I had some fun while doing it. It was miserable at times, but that's just
In
how it
400
goes.
yards,
Like you
turn
can't
left.
fight that and not have a couple miserable times in your military experience. Everybody gets there. And especially being a believer, it's hard being in the military because a lot of swearing, a lot of alcohol, a lot of strip club visits, and stuff like that. Believe me, military folks love strip clubs. That's not a secret. That should be public knowledge. I'm not gonna lie to you. but
Turn left.
they love strip clubs. I'm glad alcohol was never a thing because there are a lot of alcoholics in the military too. Don't get me wrong. A lot of cheating and other things that happen, and I don't condone any of that stuff. That's not the life I'd like to live. So those aren't the acts I commit. But it is hard being in the military when you. Whoops. I spooked him. He spooked me. Um. But it's hard being in the military when you're really because you're trying to stay on the straight and narrow, and you got all this other stuff happening, and it's like really because it's temptation all over. I mean, if you're not a person who drinks or anything like that, then it's not as much temptation to you, and thank goodness that you don't have those problems. I don't have those problems. I suppose I could say that. I don't know what I said before that. My brain's. I was contemplating opening it up again, because man, I love that this car can go fast.
You have arrived at your destination.
Yay! Have I? Onigiri! I do love that onigiri. Also, excuse me. Uh, that's my favorite thing to make
In 200
is
yards,
onigiri
turn
because
right.
it's delicious. We were supposed to stop there, but that's okay. We'll probably stop up here in this parking lot. So, getting out is giving me a chance to just be free because it's a lot of negativity too. I'm not gonna lie. There's a whole lot of complaining. There's a whole lot of downtrodden, ness, and it's just like, okay, all right, I can't do this because you got to be in uplifting environments. You got to, have a sense of joy somewhere, a source of joy from somewhere. And now my hope is in Christ. We all know this. Like that's how believers are. And I will say, throughout my 9 years, I did manage to keep a Bible on me at all times in one of my pockets. I always kept it there, and it's still there. The uniform is off. It's done. I'm gonna fold it up at some point here soon and put it away for good. Um, I have to empty my pockets too, but that Bible's gonna stay in there because it has helped me and it has been there with me through some times where I really, really, really needed it. So, leaving the military now has been. That looked like an illegal turn. That looks like I can't do that, and I'm not supposed to do that. But okay, game. Whatever you want, I'll just drive over all this stuff. Yep. Really respecting the local laws here. Um, the audacity. Sorry, that threw me off. I was like, what the heck? What are we doing here? Good parking lot for burnouts. I see. Man, I would. This. Knowing that, obviously stuff like this exists in Japan is pretty cool. It's like, yes, I love these little side parking lots where you could park the car here, go walk somewhere. I like the vending machine. We do have those too, which some people may not understand or recognize. Usually when it comes to like having a park somewhere with like a path, like nature trails and such and stuff like that. I'll give them the bike rack being 2 leveled though. Like I'll give them that. But I'm like, we got vending machines out there too. We just don't use them, or people steal from them sometimes. They're desperate for whatever. But I'm happy I'm leaving. I'm happy to be a veteran. For a while, it took me to get to the point where I'm like just comfortable being a veteran. because unfortunately the army was becoming at some point it was like very much like a lot of my personality, and cutting that out has been so freeing. Like, oh guys, I wish you could understand more, but it's been so freeing. Because and being even being a veteran, I'm like that's just I'm just a veteran. Like I'm nobody. I'm like I'm not doing anything. I'm nobody. I'm not a hero. I'm just a guy, right? What I did was a job because I signed a contract and I fulfilled that contract like everybody else. You know, I haven't been deployed. Didn't do that. Never was called for that. Had deployment opportunities. At some point, they took that away for whatever reason. But did that car just go flying in the distance? But I never got picked up for that, or my rank was too low for that. That was the other thing. You needed like, at the time I was like a two or or an E3, and they were like, no, we need a specialist for this or an E5 for this. So for those particular things, I was too low in grade at the time, so they just couldn't take me, and I wasn't eligible for promotion, so I couldn't. I really couldn't. But it's whatever, you know. It's whatever. I didn't want to go anyway because there's like some stuff to Texas, and this is while I was single. Like I met my wife in 2020, and I signed my contract in 2017. So 3 years afterwards. So halfway through my the active portion of my contract, I met my wife, and then being away was kind of like harsh. It was rough. I didn't like it. It's weird. It's weird how I've developed more into this guy who's like, yeah, I want to spend time with my family. Like, I just want to chill. Like, I still, like going and doing things, and by that I mean occasionally going to a museum if I can find one that suits my tastes. Uh, which is just a history museum. You get me a good history museum, and we're good to go. You got me. You got me. You got me. I am a sucker for history museums. Hmm. So, my thing for people who may potentially join the military, be careful when you're doing that. Make sure it's something that you're led to do, and make sure you're not just willy nilly signing a contract. Take some time, think about it, weigh out the decisions. Because yes, it's good for those who, fresh out of high school, you don't have any plans for a job, you don't have any plans for college. Go do the military for 4 years active duty, or do it 6 years in the reserves. But for the reserves, I'd say you need a plan on the civilian side before you start just trying to do stuff. Where is this thing? There it is. You dummy, you done scratched my car. You dummy, you done scratched my car. You done you done scratched my car. What the heck? Everybody's scratching my car. Brother, you done scratched my car. You owe me. You owe me now. You owe me. Does that make music? Oh, that's gonna cost you at least $1 million. US, by the way. Not yen. Don't give me 1 million yen. But give me 1 million USD and we'll be talking. Silly drivers not understanding how the road works. That scared me. That just scared me. Other players can't hit you, but that scared the crap out of me. I was like, all right, we're good. But yeah, did I reach my destination already? No, I didn't. Let's keep going. All right. About 4 miles left.
Turn around when it is safe to do so.
Man. But I love what I do now. My job supplies all that I need now. The Lord has given me that, because I've been praying for it for a long time. Believe me. Like, please increase, so we can have a little bit more freedom now to do things. As the best part about it is, I can have money for tools. Because apparently the whole fixing the car thing, that's not going to go away. That's not going to stop. I got to keep doing that, keep up the maintenance, and learn some more stuff. So, I think it's going to be an interesting time as we continue to discover stuff and things. I'm so excited to continue, like, to get more tools and be able to fix up the car more and do more stuff with that. It's like, yes, please, absolutely, absolutely. But I'm happy I could share with you guys. I initially recorded that and it was a lot messier. This felt cleaner, and I was a lot more calm. I wasn't really riled up, to be fair. But now I can, save up for some stuff. Potentially, look, chat. Potentially, I want to get ATS, American Trucking Sim, because we could drive all over the states. Sorry, I gotta get this. I gotta get this. It's right here.
Turn around when it is safe to do so.
Oh yeah, you would just be on this side of the road. I keep forgetting that. That's what messes me up.
100 yards.
My
Turn
American
sharp
brain. Like, just driving in a straight line doesn't matter, but like doing a U-turn. Look at him go. You're turning too slow for me, bud. Gotta take that corner like you mean it.
in 400 yards.
But I sincerely appreciate you guys for listening to this. It's been great. It's been grand. We're gonna go over here to the island and see what's up, because I've never been over here before, and hopefully I can get over there. We honestly might get some Starfield DLC.
Turn left.
I was gonna get DLC for this, purchase some stuff, but okay, that's for Legends. I was wondering, like, why haven't I been over here yet? That's for Legends. That's for Legends only. So, since I haven't discovered everything down this way, we can go this way. Eventually, we'll hit Legend status. I think where are we from Legend status? We are one wristband away. So, we're gonna get there. It's been about an hour. That's crazy. Didn't expect it to last that long. Maybe I did. Maybe I wanted it to last that long.
Sharp left.
Because I really had to get that experience off my chest. Like, nothing crazy happened. Like, I don't have any insane stories. Like, a lot of people have the funny, or the super funny, or the super intense, traumatic stories. Like, I got away pretty blessed. I don't have PTSD. I don't have a too broken up body. Like, most of the stuff I did damage my body came from outside the military, playing around as a kid or as a teenager, and just lifting. Sometimes too heavy or too much, or on the wrong days where I should be resting. Stuff like that. That happens. But the military really didn't mess me up too bad. So, because that's the thing, I never really had to go to, because sick call is not a thing for the reserves. It's not really a thing when you're only showing up for a couple days. Even for our long months, it's really not that serious. I never had to do that, never had to show up for that. So, really concerning myself with, we're going to make this turn real quick, see what's down here. Never really had to concern myself with going to medical for anything, because I didn't need anything. I'm chilling this whole time.
Turn around when it is
I've been
safe to
chilling,
do so.
and I thank the Lord for that. That I'm not broken up like that. And I know for some other people it works. Like I know, and I'm like I know plenty of guys who, like, yeah, I got that disability, got that nice check every month, and that's good. Good for them. I personally, I'm fine without it. I'm good. Because I see the other side of that too for some guys, not all guys, but some guys. Because it's like you do live with that chronic pain, and that's unfortunate. Others, it's like, yeah, this thing happened a while ago. Like I'm healed from it, but I'm still getting that check because it's documented. But I don't think I ever really yeah, I had nothing to document. I know that may sound weird to some, but what a beautiful road this is. This game is gorgeous. But yeah, my experiences are mine, and I hope that those who are going to join the military plan to. I hope that you have a great time. You know, make some friends, make some connections, get you a good job. I will say that my connections from the military did help me get this current job because just that's what having those old connections are good for. If somebody called me up today and were like, "Hey, you know, we were in the same unit like 4 years ago. Can you help me get this job, dude?" I would say yes. That's the fun part. I would say yes without even thinking about it right now. If well, not right now, but if because it's late when I'm recording this. But if someone called me tomorrow and was like, "Hey, you know, you remember me? Like we were in the same unit together. Can you help me get this job, dude?" I would yes, yes. That's an instant yes from me because that's what we do for each other. That's what we do for each other, and that's a glorious thing. Make my way on down to food delivery back into the city. So I'm glad I chose Forza as the bridge to kind of gap the silence and whatnot. Because I know after a while it gets very boring, so it's better that I split it up this way. So that's Legends Island right there. That's pretty cool then. So eventually we'll get up there, see how it is. Oh man. But yes, I appreciate you guys so much for watching and listening and being here. It means a lot to me. I hope that you all have a wonderful
Safe to do so.
day/night wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Stay hydrated and stay safe out there. And I will catch y'all next week. So this is me taking 30 days off of streaming and such. So these are like pre-recorded. Um, I have Starfield. I've got Avowed up on deck. So this will probably be the only podcast, quote unquote, for this month. We'll see. We'll see. If I have time to record, I'm gonna record. But I'm gonna say that like it's don't expect a lot more because the gaming videos have been recorded, and if I don't have to do more content than that, I won't. All right, you guys know how I am these days. So again, stay safe out there, stay hydrated, and until next time, we'll catch you later. Bye bye now.